So the question of just, if you have the ability to generate huge numbers of potential lead compounds, what do you do with that? I think that kind of process of like, how do we triage things as they come through? If you've potentially got this kind of surge of innovation as a result of AI, but you need to translate it into actual physical stuff. I think it's a really interesting challenge. Some of the development of the system is always going to be based on the goodwill, essentially, of the people who are developing the tools. And yeah, I mean, like, long may it continue, but also there's the point at which we need to be able to ensure that the tools that we use aren't captured and kind of taken away and become disproportionately expensive in the same way. Well, it's not in the same way, but there is an echo of in the 90s, when people were identifying candidate genes for things, there was this race to patent, and that part of the motive for the openness of the Human Genome Project was to kind of shortcut that ability to patent. And that now, because the data and the compute and the models are concentrated, that we need to make sure that we don't lose access to things. That I think you have to have that benefit of openness and collaboration, and I think it is there because at the moment nobody's quite sure what benefits are going to come at what speed and where they're going to come. So there's a value to just having it open, because then everybody can play with stuff and interesting things will happen. Actually, here there is a case of things that the private sector will invest in, but that we should invest in simply because we don't want them to be privatized resources. And I don't know, there was a very strong argument in favor of that in the 90s, and it's a strong movement in favor of that around the Human Genome Project. I think we probably need something similar at this point. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the more Sanger can do, and the more it can make open fast, the more it creates a space for. I mean, and also, I mean, because the openness leads to more innovation. I mean, ultimately, far more people have done far more with the kind of output of the Human Genome Project than they would have done had the whole thing been privately owned and licensed, because people would have been like, well, I'll just go and look at frog genomes instead. So I think there's a massive value to openness, but it requires that kind of constant engagement from Wellcome, from Gates, or whoever, the kind of big funders, to say like, look, we want this to be open.